Greetings, my fellow Fright Fiends. It's your buddy Boogeyman Ben here for a new episode of Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone, and this is building a Horror Zone vlog. This is a vlog that I was doing for a good amount of time. I did 12 episodes over the course of about 3.5 months at the beginning of this year. Pretty much what this vlog was is it was talking about the progress I was making on my memoir that I wanted to do. That was my big project for the year. That was my big project for 2018. Wanted to write a memoir about being a horror fan growing up in the 80s, and the last one I did was on June 7th, so almost 2 months ago, and I stopped because I really just hit a snag. It wasn't coming together. Writing is difficult, and I haven't written anything in a long time. The last time I wrote anything was back in college, so we're going back 17 years. And I was writing screenplays and short stories and short format screenplays, and I just couldn't get this thing going. And I don't know if it was that I was trying to be too ambitious, I was trying to reach and do too many things, and I really didn't have a focus of what the overall purpose of the book was. I feel like I was trying to get to a point where I had a good roadmap. I had a good roadmap of where I wanted to go or start from, and then where I wanted to lead to as I wrote. And it just was coming out horrible. I would write just to write. But for someone like me who's really a perfectionist, it was just coming out wrong, and it just didn't sound right, and it didn't sound like my voice. It sounded like I was trying to be something that I wasn't. So I thought the best thing to do was to take a break. So I put the memoir aside, and I started thinking about, growth for the Horror Zone channel. What do I want to do? Why am I doing this? And what is this all about? And I realized that it's about reaching people. It's about sharing things that make me happy, joy. There's a lot of pain in this world. Horror movies and this genre is really my escape, and this room is kind of my safe zone. I've said it before in previous Building a Horror Zone segments, but it is my safe place, and it is the place where I feel like, I'm a kid again, and all this stuff that made me happy is here with me. And it really takes a lot of the pain of the world away from me. I've just been really low. I've had a really rough couple of months, really depressed, really feeling like a failure, and it hasn't been easy. And I've tried to push on and keep my content going. There was a time that I just wasn't even doing videos. I had sort of stopped. I was doing maybe one video a week. I was just not in a good state of mind, and I don't know what it is. For a while there I thought it was just because I'm getting older, and the fear of getting older kind of sets in. There's a lot of things I wanted to do by the time I got to the age that I am now, and I feel like I haven't achieved those things. My time is running out, is what I kept feeling like. And I did go to a doctor. I went to my doctor and talked to him about what I've been going through. I have reached out to somebody to speak to, a therapist, because I feel like I have to, in order to sort of figure out what's going on with me right now. It's like all of a sudden I feel lost. I feel empty and alone and lost. And I haven't felt like this to this degree ever in my life. I was just feeling like a failure. And I don't know why I'm opening up like this here, but I have to talk to somebody. And this is the only place where I feel like I can be myself sometimes. This is me. I'm raw right now. This is who I am. I went through quite a bit losing my job nearly 3 years ago when I worked for that cookware company. That was crushing. It really fucked me up. And, I went and got another job right away. I was lucky, but I wasn't fulfilled, and I hated that job. And then I went to work for Google. I thought that was going to be a great opportunity, and it did, propel me to get the job at Berkeley, which was fantastic. But Google was not a fun place to work. And this person that was my manager there took credit for work that I did. And I feel screwed over any chance that I had of getting another job in the company. I haven't talked about it. It was one of the worst situations. The first 3 months there were fantastic. The last 3 months I was there were just horrific. And it all happened exactly 2 years ago. And then I got the job at Berkeley, which was fantastic because it's always where I wanted to work. And I worked my ass off there. I wasn't able to get a job there because of a lot of budgetary things that are going on there. But that was heartbreaking. And then I landed where I am now, which I'm really happy at, with the cable company I'm at now, and as a project manager, project coordinator, and I love what I'm doing. Because my life was in such upheaval for so long, I never really had a chance to really think about what was going on. And I never really had the chance to sort of digest everything that I was going through. I was just working through it. I was just looking at, okay, this is ending, I have to get here. And then this is ending, and I have to get here. And it was always about taking care of my family. It's almost like it all caught up with me. I finally had a moment, I've had, time now to sort of process everything I went through from the beginning of 2016 until the end of 2017. And it was crazy. It was like 2 years of hell, because I had to constantly be thinking 4 months down the road when I was going to lose my job, or how was I going to keep my job, or anything I could do. And I was constantly hustling, moving fast, trying to make sure that things were moving forward, and that I wasn't going to be unemployed. And it's the scariest thing I've ever had to go through. I've always had a job. I've always worked. I've been working since I was 16 years old. I've always worked hard, and I've always done the best I could. I've always been honest. Everything that my wife and I have, we worked hard for. Nothing was ever given to us. We paid our dues. We busted our asses. My wife's a fantastic person. She's a wonderful woman. I'm so lucky to have her in my life. I've been married almost 15 years, and I wanted to give her everything. I wanted to get to a point where she didn't have to work if she didn't want to. And I think just all of this, everything that I've just shared with you, people fucking me over, people taking advantage of my kindness, things not working out. And I know that's life. But it's like when you're able to finally sit down and process it all, sometimes it's too much. And going off on a tangent a little bit about what this video was originally about, I think that's what sort of stalled my creative flow on the book. But, there is a silver lining here. I'm starting to get an idea of what I want the book to be. It still will revolve around this room and my childhood of growing up as a fan of this genre. But I think I want to focus it a little bit more. I just got the inspiration recently. Just started to think about the first celebrity I ever met that was in a horror movie that I loved. That goes back to meeting Janet Leigh in 1995. She was going to be in San Francisco signing her book, and my grandmother had just bought me the book. Of course, I had seen Psycho many times at that point. And I had never driven to the city by myself. And I had just had ear surgery. I had surgery because I had something on my ear that had to be removed. And I had to be back at a doctor's appointment to get the stitches out by a certain time, but I knew I had to take this opportunity to go and meet Janet Leigh. With every ounce of my being, I said I had to go do this, and was able to tell her how much I appreciated what she did and how much that movie meant to me. And I still remember shaking her hand and thanking her. And she was a very kind woman, very tiny woman. But I think about that, and I think I want to focus the book a little bit more than I was in terms of tightening it up. I was trying to talk about every single influence that ever got me to liking monsters and horror movies, and I think it was just too broad. I doubt that this project's going to be done this year like I initially wanted it to, which is unfortunate because I really wanted to get it done. But I could have a draft done if I can just get right back on the path that I need to be. I want to thank you guys so much for listening to me. But know that the vlog it still might be quiet for a while. I really want to figure out what this whole book is going to be about. Again, I wanted it to be from the perspective of a horror fan, someone that grew up when this genre was not the pop culture phenomenon that it is now. When I grew up, it wasn't this. It was something that you didn't talk about. It was the outcasts that were fans of this stuff, and now everybody is. I wanted to be the voice of the horror fan that grew up in a time when it wasn't cool to be a horror fan. And I'm really hoping that now I feel like I have a little bit more of a focus on what it can be. It's still going to be about this horror zone. This horror zone is a representation of me. This is me in a room, because everything in here means something to me. And the book, I want it to tie into these conventions that I go to. I still remember the feeling I had when I met Janet Leigh and Adrienne Barbeau and David Naughton. Meeting them meant so much to me. And I think if I can tie it all together in terms of here's my first encounter of seeing them on the big screen or on my television screen. And this is why it meant so much to me meeting them and what that interaction was like. I think it would be really kind of cool. And it would give the book a little bit more of a foundation. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I'm sorry that it kind of got long-winded and I started talking about other things, but I wanted people to understand, what's been going on and why this segment disappeared after so long. I couldn't do it anymore because it just wasn't there. And had it there, and then when I would try to write it, it just would fall apart and it sounded stupid. But the book will happen. I'm going to make sure that it happens. It's one of the most important things I've ever wanted to do. I've wanted to write something like this for a long time, and I'm not going to let my dream die because I had a little writer's block. I wanted to get this out to let people know a status update on what's been going on with the memoir, and I promise that I will do more of these as my vision becomes clearer. Like I said, it's still very conceptual of where I think I want to take it now, but I will always keep you guys updated. The other thing I want to say real quickly before I go, I want to send a very special shout out to two people, my first two Patreon subscribers, people that have donated money to me, which means more to me than anything in the world. And I want to thank Quentin Booker and Queenie Todd. Both of them have contributed to the Horror Zone channel on Patreon, and thank you both so much. One of the kindest gestures that I've ever had in my life, and I promise that I will keep things fun, and I have a lot of great segments that I want to do here on the channel going forward. The book is going to be one of them, and I'm hopeful that by the end of this year I will have something that I can be proud of, and that the work I've done this year will really carry this Horror Zone channel to the next level. So thank you all, everyone, for supporting me, for watching this long, very drawn out video that I didn't mean to go on for as long as it did. It means so much to me, and I promise I have some really cool, fun stuff coming up real soon. So take it easy. Hope everyone has a great evening, and remember to stay scared as always.